So, good morning, everybody. Happy Thursday. I'm sorry, but today I'll be lacking my normal energy and enthusiasm a little bit because I got my second COVID shot yesterday. So I'm a little beat up right now, which is normal. You're supposed to have that. That means it's working. So I'm gonna try to do my best. I figured that me being here a little under would be better than you guys having a sub. So we're gonna go through this lesson, and if you guys have questions, please ask in chat or turn on your mic and ask. Okay. All right. So as you can see, we're going to be doing 5.3 today, and we're going to be proving triangles congruent by SSS. So we're going to have a second way of doing it. Okay. But first, before we get there, let's take a look at this one. So are the triangles congruent? Prove our answer, right? So you can't just say, hey, they're congruent or not congruent. We have to back it up with some geometry. So I've been really pushing this one property, and I want to see if you guys can get this. So in chat, can you guys tell me, are these triangles congruent? Yes or no? What do you guys got? And what do you guys think? Okay. Now, some of you guys might look at this and be like, well, the triangles aren't congruent as marked, right? So we need a little bit more information. So you're going to have problems like this on your homework, and you're going to have problems like this on the midterm. And it's going to give you a picture. It's going to say, hey, are these triangles congruent? And instead of prove your answer, it's going to say why, right? So first thing I'm going to look at, I'm going to notice that I have a pair of sides. And I got a new blue pen, huh? Exciting. So I have a pair of congruent sides, and I have a pair of congruent angles. Okay, so the only way that we have to prove triangles congruent right now is SAS, so we're missing another pair of sides, right? But we can get that second pair of sides by saying that x segment xz, now I got to be careful with this, is congruent with segment zx by reflexive property. Okay, because these two triangles share a side. So again, just trying to get you guys with more practice using that reflexive property. It's really big, it's really important. Okay, and remember, reflexive property just says if two things share a shape, whether it be a side or an angle, then that's the same for both shapes. Okay, so if we have that, then I can say, hey, triangle YXZ is congruent to triangle. Now what's Y going to go with? Y is going to go with W. X is going to go with Z. And Z is going to go with X. And then we can say by SAS. Okay? And it's just short and sweet like that. Okay? So you're going to see something like this in your homework where it's going to say, hey, are these congruent and why? And also, that's a great question to put on the midterm. Okay? So how are you guys doing? Are you guys doing okay? I hope you guys are feeling better than me. I feel like a gang of young people came and beat me up, and my body just feels really tender, and I just feel like I could just take a nap right now. If this was a normal school year, you would definitely have a sub, but since I'm at home, I think I can manage it. No, it's good. It's really good. So when you get your second dose of the vaccine, so what's happening is I'm having an immune response. So that means that my body has an immune response to it. So you want to not feel good when you get your second shot, or after, if you get the Johnson & Johnson, you don't want to feel good. Yeah. Whoa. Don't say impressed. Everyone reacts differently. So don't go to your mom and be like, gosh, mom, you're really weak. My math teacher still taught class. Don't do that. Your mom would be upset with you. Everyone reacts a little differently. So some people get it worse than others. I'm definitely fighting through it. If I pause, it's just because I'm in pain. But I'm fighting through it because it's better than having a sub. All right. So what we're doing today, we're doing 5.3. We're going to be, we're doing 5.3? Oh, no, I lied. Oh my gosh, guys, I so lied to you. We're doing 5.5. Here, I'm going to change that really quickly. 5.3 was last class. See, I'm already making mistakes, right? So just really quickly here, 5.5, proving triangles congruent by SSS. We're in 5.5. Okay. So we're going to be doing, so proving triangles congruent by SSS. So just to recap here, right? So what does this mean? So SSS means we have 3 pair, right? And a pair, right? Not like the kind that you eat, that's PEAR. So a pair means 2, right? So 3 pair of corresponding congruent sides. Okay, so we call this side, side, side. Or you can be like a snake and go. You know, it's really relevant to talk about vaccines. So there's currently 3 vaccines approved in United States. They are the Pfizer, Moderna. Oh my gosh, did I pronounce that right? Moderna and Johnson & Johnson. The Pfizer and Moderna, they require 2 shots. The Johnson & Johnson just requires 1 shot. All right. The Johnson & Johnson wasn't available for me, so I got the Pfizer. All right. So 3 pair of corresponding congruent sides. Oh my gosh, just a second. Ooh. Okay. So 3 pair of where am I going with this? Okay. So remember, so again, why is this important? We only need 3 parts instead of 6, right? And that's the same from last time. Okay. So let me show you how this works, right? So let's say I have 3 pieces of wood. Let's say I have a 3-foot piece of wood, a 5-feet piece of wood, and a 6-feet piece of wood. Okay. So what we want to do is we want to put these pieces of wood together to make a triangle. So what do you guys think? If I put these 3 pieces of wood together, how many unique triangles do you think I can get? And I think I kind of spoiled the answer, but what do you guys think? 3 pieces of wood. How many unique triangles can we get? Right? And you might think, well, what if I make a triangle like this? Maybe not drawn correctly, but 5 feet, right? But what if I go like this? All right, 5 feet. Oh, I don't know how this is going to work. 3 feet, 6 feet, right? Or if I go 5 feet, 6 feet, 3 feet. And I know that these aren't drawn to scale, but what I just tried to show you, like I rotated which pieces were touching each other. Right? So the whole point is all of these triangles are the same triangle. Okay? They're just rotated, right? Or they're flipped, or they're, right? Some transformation was done to them. So they're all going to be the same triangle. So what's really important is if I cut 3 pieces of wood, right? Then these two triangles are going to be congruent. Okay. So again, we were talking about construction. Well, and if you guys remember from last class, you can go to places like a hardware store and you can get those metal brackets that give you a defined angle. The benefit of doing this is that if you just pre-cut all the wood, you don't need fancy metal brackets. You can just use nails or screws. And that saves you money because metal can be expensive depending on the market. Okay, so this is a great way of getting around that. Though sometimes you do still want the metal to as struts, and struts are things that increase surface area between the pieces of wood. I'm going too far with this, aren't I? Anyways, we could talk about this all day. I love physics and structural engineering. But the idea here is SSS works. It only makes one congruent triangle. Oh man. Let's get through this lesson. All right. So we're going to do some proofs together. We're going to do some practice, and then we're going to be on our way. So the first thing we're going to do, so to prove triangles congruent, we now have two ways. We have SAS and SSS. Okay, so we have two ways now, right? Okay, so the more ways we add to prove triangles congruent, the more difficult it's going to get, because you can't just be like, oh, I know it has to be this, right? So let's do a proof together, and let's see where you guys are, okay? So let's say our given, the given won't make sense until I draw the picture. So let's just copy down the given together. So I have segment KL is going to be congruent to segment NL. And I use a semicolon to separate my givens. And segment KM is going to be congruent to segment NM. And we're going to prove that triangle KLM is congruent to triangle NLM. And I'm sorry, that's a lot to write down, but I'm like the least excited I've ever been. Sorry. You're gonna really like SSS. I think SSS is the easiest of all of them, because proving sides congruent is easier than proving angles congruent. Let's go ahead. I'm gonna draw a picture over here. You guys see that? I'm gonna label this as K, L, M, and N. Okay, so K, L, M, and N, like that. And then we're gonna have a two-column proof. Oof, some people coming in heck late. Okay, so we're gonna have statements and reasons. I'm sorry, I know these proofs are a lot to write down, and I apologize for that. And well, I don't care. Remember, I'm a math teacher, so I want to destroy your soul. That's my objective. All right. Okay, so the first things I'm gonna write down are hey, I'm glad you're here. So I'm gonna write down my givens. I like to write down my givens as two separate lines, so that way I can really focus on them. Especially when I'm like this, right? Like where it's hard to focus. So I'm just, again, it's just copy paste, right? So it's not like I'm starting this proof yet. I'm just copying and pasting from that. So let's see here. I'm going to have given and given. All right. So let's update our picture. So it says KL. Where's KL? Here's KL. So KL is congruent to NL. That's over here. And then it says KM. So here's KM. That's congruent to NM. Okay. So now, what makes this a little bit more difficult is now we have two ways to prove triangles congruent. So that means, right? So if you take a look at this, we have two pairs of sides. So what are my options? So my options are, I either have to find another angle or I have to find another side, right? So what's cool is if you list the ways to prove triangles congruent, you can be like, okay, I either need to find a pair of congruent angles or I need to find a pair of congruent sides. So in chat, why don't you guys help me out? What do you guys think? Are we going to be looking for, well, I mean, hopefully the title of this lesson kind of showed you what we're doing, but are we looking for angles or sides? What are we doing? Yeah, you guys are pretty baller. Okay. And so, and what property are we gonna use? And I keep trying to stress this property because we didn't use it a lot first trimester. Well, what property am I gonna use here? I got two triangles. Oh my gosh, you guys were already typing it. You guys are like the fastest typers. You know, when I was in middle school, schools got their first computers, and so just saying, You guys grew up with computers. That's crazy. All right. So yeah, we're gonna say reflexive property. So I'm gonna have right segment LM. Now I'm gonna look up here. So right, so segment LM that goes with LM. Okay, and then my reason is reflexive property. Okay, so I got that third S, and this is why I think you guys are gonna really like SSS problems, because we're done. That's it, right? So we got SSS. So I can say I can just say the triangles are congruent. So triangle KLM is congruent to triangle NLM. And what's our reason? Our reason is SSS. So it's like the exact same process as before, but it gives us another opportunity to prove triangles congruent. Yay! That's as much as energy as I got today, guys. All right, are you guys doing okay with this? Do you guys have any questions? Okay. Well, I'm gonna make this a short lesson. Okay. Okay. So you guys on your screen here, I'm gonna zoom in just one more. Okay. You guys should see on your screen, you should see a congruent statement and a picture of two congruent triangles. So here's, now you're like, what gives? Okay, so here's my question. Is the congruent statement correct? So that's my question. And I don't want you guys, can you not respond to all? Can you just respond to me so I can see if you guys are, how you guys are doing? So just do a direct message. Don't respond to all. So my question is this congruent statement correct? As in, I gave this picture, a student wrote triangle DFG is congruent to triangle HJK. Do we give them full points? Okay. I'm going to hit freeze here, and then I'm going to... So people are still right? I still need to hear from people, right? So is this statement this correct? Here, let me get a pencil. So is this statement that I'm underlining in green, is that statement correct? Okay, and this is what you're going to look at, and I'm going to help you guys out here. Is so what they're saying is that, so if I circle this, they're saying D goes with H. So I'm going to look at D. Now, do you see how D is between the single? Do you guys see how there's, right? There's the single mark here and the double mark. So D, right, angle D is in between the single and the double. So if I look over at H, then it should be between the single and the double. So that's a new way of being able to check your congruent statement, okay? Because even though these angles aren't marked congruent, we can still say, but they're in between those congruent sides, so they're going to be corresponding and congruent. Okay? Then I can switch up my color here, and I can do the same thing with, like, let's say do the same thing with G. So G down here is between the triple and the single. Makes me think of cheeseburgers, right? Like the triple cheeseburger and the single cheeseburger. And then K, right, the last one here, K is between the single and the triple. That's a terrible arrow. And then the last one, right, we have F and J, and F is between the double and the triple. J is between the double and the triple. Okay. So yeah, I would say, is this a true statement? Yes. Okay, I would say yes. Okay. All right, you guys ready for your next one? You're like, oh, Kref, this is the most awesome stuff I've ever done. Oh my gosh, math rules. Right? Who would ever want to be an English teacher? That's weird. Okay, same thing. Same thing. Is this congruency statement correct? So I'm going to underline it in green. So I want to know if that congruency statement is correct. And again, don't say it to all. Don't say it at all. Just say it to me. And guys, there should be like 26 students in here. So I should be getting a lot of responses. So look at it, think about it, and say, hey, is it true that triangle ACB is congruent to triangle CAD? Okay. So hopefully, right, you guys saw right off the bat what's going on here, right? Is if you look at AB, see how that's 3? Well, this is 4, right? So those two sides are warning, right? Because this side being 7 and this side being 7, that's good. Both of these sides are going to be 9 because that's reflexive property, right? So both those sides are going to be congruent. This side is congruent to this side, but 3 is not congruent to 4. So is this a true statement? No. Right? And the no is not even happy about it. Okay. All right. How are we doing so far? And the reason you're like, Kraft, why are you doing this? The reason why I'm doing this, guys, is because this is what your homework, some of your homework questions are going to be like this. It's going to be like, hey, are these congruent? Is this congruency statement correct? Doing good. Like I should. All right, we got one more. And then we're going to do some proofs. We're going to do some proofs together. Or something. Hey, how about those football players, right? Whoop, whoop. Okay, let's take a look. And I have pre-stop. Okay, so this is our last practice with this one. Is, and I will make it green. So is, oops, it helps if I use the pencil, not the eraser. Is that correct? Is that true? Some of you guys are getting really good at this. Maybe you guys pre-typed yes or no, and then you hit enter as quickly as you could. First, hashtag the first. I mean, you got a 50-50 guess, right? Sometimes to get first, you gotta risk it all. So again, with this one, so if I take a look at Q, so Q is between the double and the single. And then if I look at R is between the single and the double. So that checks out. And then we could do the same for the other ones, but I'm not gonna lie. Does anybody have questions about this? I think we're ready to move on. We're doing okay? All right. So, all right. Let's do, I want to practice a couple more things with you guys. We're gonna do two. Hey, I'm gonna make you a deal. I'm not feeling well, and so I had planned this lesson to be a short lesson. So we're gonna do 2 more problems, and then I'm gonna let you guys go early, and I'll go on to big ideas and make sure your assignment is posted. Okay? Does that sound sweet? Are you guys okay with that? Yeah, sounds sweet. Sweet. Totally, dude. Oh my gosh. Okay, just a second. I gotta do a little trapeze act here. Here we go. All right. So more of the same. I want to know, is this a true statement? And then remember at the beginning of class, we talked about how sometimes it's going to say they're congruent, but it doesn't. But it doesn't have what are we saying? But it doesn't have all the information. Feel free to add in the information. No one's died from the vaccine. There's nothing in the vaccine that will kill you. So the thing is, if you don't like you need like the whole purpose of a vaccine is that you should have side effects. Because what you're doing, so think about it, when you get sick, when you get aches and headaches and like a fever, that's because your body is having an immune response. So like you heat up because your white blood cells are going to town. You have body aches because the virus in your muscles is battling the white blood cells. So you want to have symptoms. Symptoms are good. A vaccine won't kill you. Now, if you have anaphylactics, so that's when you have an allergic reaction. That's why you always get the shot at a medical center and you wait 15 minutes to see if you do have a reaction, because then they're at the hospital and they can help you out. It is safe. So think of it this way. COVID-19 can kill you, right? Without the vaccine, but with the vaccine, it can't kill you. So when you go to the clinic, like I know, like you're like, but I don't like going to hospitals. That's where sick people are, right? Or I don't like going to clinics. That's where sick people are. But you're wearing a mask, you're not touching things, and you're washing your hands, right? And those are going to prevent 99% of all illnesses, right? Contagious, anyways. So there's nothing to worry about there, guys. And I really hope that when the vaccine is available to all youth, that you guys take the opportunity to do that, because, my gosh, I want people to be safe. Oh, I'm so sorry, guys. I'm losing track. So, is this a true statement? Okay, let's check this out. So, I really appreciated a couple of students, like they added in like, yeah, they are congruent, because did you guys check this out? Right? Because FD is going to be congruent to FD. This right here is the reflexive property. Like, I'm not going to lie. I know some of you guys are like, Kreft, you don't look good. I was kind of expecting to have a fever, because then that would mean that my immune system is really going. So I'm actually I was hoping for a fever so that I know my immune system is kicking some butt. Okay. So are these congruent? The answer is yes. Are you guys okay with that? We're just going to do one more and then we're going to be done for today. And I appreciate your guys' concerns and questions. You know what? And can I just say, we've been together now, for a few weeks, right? Some of you guys, I had you last trimester, and like, you guys are asking questions in class. And I know it's not about math, but oh my gosh, guys, ask questions. I'd love to talk to you and do that. So I appreciate you guys using chat. Okay? Thank you. All right, let's do this next one and then we'll be done. Okay. And also another thing too, if you go to a clinic to get to a shot, all the nurses that are giving you the shots are fully vaccinated already. Where am I? I'm like way over, not on the right page. Okay, here we go. Ooh, this is difficult. Okay, I'm going to use two hands here. Okay, here's our last one. All right, there's your last one. Is that a true statement? Yes or no? I'm going to get some of you on this one. So I need more responses, guys. This is our last one. Come on. So please, yeah, please answer, guys, because if this is our last, if I'm going to end class short, I need you guys participating. We need to show me that you guys have earned it. Okay, so I think you guys got complacent a little bit. So check this out. So yes, a lot of people pointed out that, you know, for sure we're going to have reflexive property, right? So just on that, doesn't it look like we have SSS? Right? Doesn't it look like it? But check out this statement. Look at K and J. K is between is between a single and a double. Is J between that? No. So what should be there? This should read triangle triangle, what is it? L. Hey, it's okay if you're confused about these problems. Go ahead and ask questions if you need to. But K should go with M. And then this should be J. Okay? So K goes with M. Okay? Does that make sense, guys? Do you guys see how this angle right here should be going with this angle right here? Yeah, it's the one problem you guys didn't check the letters. I knew you guys would get all complacent and you wouldn't check the letters anymore. All right, so I think this has been a really good lesson. I'll post this on YouTube.